All right, so moving on. When we go to do our polygons here, we're going to be looking for the polygon tool, which is over here. You might see rectangle at first. We're looking for polygon. Okay. What this will allow you to do is draw a very simple polygon, and it's going to ask me at first, enter the number of sides. All right, so if we go over here, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to hit 6, enter, and then it asks for the center of the polygon, which is right there. And then it asks me, is it inscribed in a circle or is it circumscribed about a circle? What that means is if I were to draw a circle inside of here, with the center of the circle being here, does an edge of the circle hit here or does the edge of a circle hit here? This one is circumscribed about a circle. This one is circumscribed in a circle. And I'll show you those both here in a second. So since we're over here, we're going to say circumscribed about a circle. And then it's going to ask me to enter my number, in which it is 20. And there's my polygon. If we do the same thing over here, polygon tool, number of sides, this one's a 5-sided. And this is circumscribed in a circle. Now, most times that in versus around has to do with the number of sides or also specifically how it's dimensioned. So we want 15.1. There we go. So here's our object. For the dimensioning aspect, let me move this a little bit. Dimensioning, very, very similar as the other day. When I go through to dimension this, I will use things like radius. And I know right now you can't see any of those dimensions, and we'll talk about that in a second. I could dimension this guy here. All right, so I've thrown 3 dimensions out there. You can physically see the line, and you might say, well, it's not dimensioning it. If I zoom in really far, it is. The issue is our dimension style is really small. So to fix that, we'll go into dimension style. And did I tell you what it is? I did, text size 5. So we'll go into here, modify. Here's a chance to change the color as well. And text height, we're going to change to 5. And we will then go into lines, and we'll change those colors as well. Primary units. Precision, we probably don't need 3 decimal places. We probably need 2. And close. Okay, there you go. Now we can see our dimensions. They come through a lot more clearly, and they are the correct size. All right, let's keep going with dimensions. So I'll need a linear dimension from here to here, so we know our spacing. Ooh, that's an oddball. It should be 129. I got 129.09. Here's, I bet, what happened. I clicked on the wrong part of my dimension. If I zoom in really far, and I'm kind of happy this happened. If I zoom in really far, so this one did line up here. On the other side, I bet you I clicked here by accident. Yep, that's exactly what happened. So if I click and move that, there you go, 129. So if that ever happens, if you ever get an oddball measurement, zoom in and see where exactly your mouse automatically snapped to. That'll happen. It's really frustrating, and if you don't know why it happened, you might think you made a mistake in your drawing. Okay, let's go through and dimension a couple other things. So from here to here, and believe it or not, same issue. Got too much stuff going on my screen. Stuff is snapping incorrectly. There you go, 20. Over here, I'm going to use an aligned dimension. Man, I can't get a dimension to snap in the right spot to save myself. This is frustrating, guys. Okay, so there's all that. What else are we missing here now? Oh, the stuff inside of here. In here. So for this kind of stuff, I like to move my dimension just so it's a little bit cleaner. And there are other ways to do this too. You could do like arrows in the inside, like what I did. You could do arrows on the outside. Part of that would be if I went into my dimension style, I didn't increase the size of my arrows. Yeah, my arrow size, let's make those the corresponding 5. Yeah, there you go. So now you can see that. That's why you didn't see it at first. Am I missing anything else? Yes, the total of 70. Total of 70 from end to end. Huh. How convenient. I don't know if I could have had any more dimensions click incorrectly there. That was kind of comical from my end. All right, so we've got my circles. I have this, I have that, I have all this in here. The only thing I would recommend, I've dimensioned everything. I dimensioned it really, really dirty. I wanted to show you how to use all the dimension tools. I didn't want to necessarily show you where to place them. That's what this is for up here, okay? So adjust your dimensions a little bit. Take note. Right now I have some extra decimal points that I don't need. I'm going to go through my precision and I'm going to modify this back down to only have 1 decimal place. The only place we need that decimal anyway is the 5.1. Everything else is a whole number. If I put it to no decimal places, it would round this 15.1 to 15. All right, so make sure you have that. The last bit is make sure you include your scale and your text size down here with your name, and then get that submitted when you are done. All right. Hope the video helps, guys, and I will see you on the next one.